Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to welcome you to the NACTA webinar series. My name is Lorene Romero. I am going to be your moderator for today. If you have any questions for our guest, please be sure to put them in the question box. At the end, we will have a Q&A session, and I will read your questions to Randy. Everybody is on mute. That way it will allow us to have a clear recording for this webinar. So if you would like to listen to it in the future, you may do so. We are going to be posting this recording on the NACTA YouTube channel. Tomorrow or the next day, I will send everybody a link to be able to get to that webinar link. Also, if you're not signed up for the NACTA webinar, for the NACTA YouTube page, I would definitely encourage you to do that. That way you can listen to any of the recordings that we have in the past. From time to time, Lisa Watson, our marketing manager, will post short videos there about how you can change your password, if you need to change your email address in your NACTA profile, that sort of thing. This is where you will find the recording. So for now, I am going to turn the reins over to Randy Goodrich. He is the Scenic Regional Sales Manager. He is a good friend to NACTA, has been with us for many years. He and I have done many webinars together, and he always has some great information to be able to pass on to you to be able to sell the Scenic product. So, Randy, I am going to put myself on mute and turn the rein over to you, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to present today. Randy, are you there?
I was on mute.
You were on mute. I'm like, uh-oh. We will try
Sorry.
this again. All right. Randy, I am turning the reins over to you. There you go.
Thank you very much. So a Happy New Year to everybody. I hope 2017 is off to a great start. We're hearing from a lot of agents that they're getting a lot more calls this year, and hopefully Europe is picking up after a semi-good last year. We were pretty good for us, but I know bookings were down a little bit. So I'm going to talk to you about Scenic today. It's a wonderful product for your clients, especially your five-star clients who prefer an all-inclusive type experience. There's nobody does it better, in my opinion, than Scenic. So we'll go through that, give you some background on the company that may be repetitive if you've heard the webinars before, and then we'll get into what's new for 17 and a little bit more detail on our Shore Excursion program. And then I will also talk about our new Scenic Eclipse, the unbelievable new yacht that's coming out in 2018. So with that, we'll go ahead. I'll get my slides to go forward. We'll be in better shape here. Just see. Go, slides. There we go. So we're actually 30 years old. We started in 1986. Glenn Maroney, right out of college, started doing some local tours in Australia and quickly expanded the company to where it now does tours, luxury, all-inclusive bus tours throughout the world, throughout 7 continents, all English-speaking, everything English-speaking, different forms of English, of course, Australian, New Zealand, United Kingdom countries, and now North America. So we're very proud to be around that long, and it's a very successful company, very large company compared to even some others here in the States. So in 2008, after having chartered a couple river cruise ships from the competitors for a couple of years and filling those quite quickly, Mr. Maroney decided that he would go ahead and put all feet in the water, so to speak, and start to build his very own ships. He hired his wife at that time, who had been a commercial designer in Australia, to design the ships in the way that they thought would make a more enjoyable experience for your clients. So you can see here the picture. This is the Diamond ship, which is one of our first ships. It's got the balconies in every cabin on the second and third deck. And in those days we had a railing, and today we have a glass panel system. I'll show you more about in a minute. But you can see the ship, the lovely ship. All the ships on the especially on the Rhine-Main Danube, but in Europe for the most part look the same because of the fact that you have to go through all the locks and under bridges and things like that, which require the ship to have a certain size limit. So you can see from here the new ships, it's still the same basic structure. They can be 443 feet maximum length and 38 feet wide in order to get through all the locks in the Rhine-Main and Danube. Some of the rivers we even provide shorter, smaller ships because of those rivers. So it's all. This is a picture of one of our newest ships, the Opal. Now you can see the balconies now are enclosed, so you can have them open or closed if the weather's not great and you want to spend more time out on the balcony. It's easy to do. I'll show you a close-up of that in a minute. You can see the very large lounge. So our ships, we have 169 maximum passengers. There is one single cabin, which is a balcony cabin. So the rooms average over 200 square feet, which is larger than the industry average. The lounge area there at the top with all the windows around the front of the ship, that is about 25% larger than most of the others for the same size ship, because we have 2 of our 6 dining choices are in that area. And then the dining area is down below there. So in 2014, after having 6 years with Scenic and really going after the upscale market, Mr. Maroney wanted to come out with a 4-star plus product because river cruises had gotten so popular, and he wanted to have a product that was kind of in the mainstream, more value focused, which he was successful doing that in 3 years. The first year, for the first 2 ships, we got Cruise Critic's award for the best new ship design, and the last 2 years, the best value in river cruising. We're building 3 new ships for Emerald this next year, and I think many of you participated in the webinar last week on Emerald. A great product for your clients, really comparing price and looking for value. We also this year, in 2016, built a special ship for the Mekong River, 34 one-bedroom suites, unbelievable, all-inclusive. And on the Irrawaddy, it's September, we started with a 22-cabin ship, smaller. That's the picture you see right here. So that's we're in Southeast Asia now, too, selling very quickly. In Europe itself, just a little background. Many of you probably know this, but if you haven't really done a river cruise and don't understand the popularity of the river cruise, it's because these rivers throughout Europe were the highways, were the transportation system for Europe for centuries. This is how commerce was done. It's how people got around, things like that. So many of the old famous cities, towns, villages are along the rivers. And the river cruise gives you the ability to get on the ship, say in Amsterdam, and then work your way all the way across. You can go as far as the Black Sea and see all these wonderful places that many of us haven't even heard about before. You've heard about the big cities, Amsterdam, Cologne, Nuremberg, Budapest, things like that, but there's so many along the way. Every day you get to see a different, really wonderful place with a lot of history and a lot of culture. And that's why the river cruise is so popular, because the boat's transportation, it's your food, your sleeping, it's also your tour guide. So very popular. And we cover the Rhine, the Rhine, Main, and Danube all the way across Europe. The Rhine down from between Amsterdam and Basel. And then in France, we have the Rhone River in southern France. We have the Seine out of Paris with a special ship that goes all the way to Honfleur, which saves your people, gets them that much closer to the Normandy beaches, which is typically the highlight. The trip to Bordeaux for your wine lovers. There's just nothing better than that if people like good red wine. And then Porto, we started the Douro last year with our own ship. And then we do have a very small ship up in Russia, only 112 passengers, so very boutique-y 2-week trip, which actually has 4 of our private Scenic and Rich events in that 2-week period. So pretty outstanding itineraries. And these are all detailed in our brochures. We refer to Scenic as the most all-inclusive, and inclusive not just by including something, but going to the nth degree, including it to the very best quality and quantity that we can. So transfers are included before and after the cruise. We just need to know when your customers are arriving. If they buy air from us, that would be automatic, but if they buy it elsewhere or use miles, we just need to know when they're going to arrive, and we'll pick them up and we'll drop them off at the airport at the end. All meals, and we have 6 dining choices. So if you compare river cruises, you'll find most have 2 or 3. We have 6 dining choices, and I'll detail those a little bit later. Water, soft drinks, wine, beer, spirits, just about anything they want to drink, anytime they want to drink it. So there's no, well, we include wine and beer, or we even we include drinks maybe at a certain time. Nope, we include any time they want it. They have a butler, 24-hour room service, so they have a butler for every cabin, even the least expensive cabins have a butler assigned to them so they can get some special services. Mini bar in every room. That's going to be stocked with whatever type of liquid refreshments they want. Balconies, as I mentioned, every cabin on the 2nd and 3rd deck, not just some, with the sun lounge, which we might call a sun room, but I'll show you how that works in a minute. But in the red is the most important part of a river cruise. That's the Shore Excursions. And we just got the award from Cruise Critic as the best shore excursion program. And the reason is because we don't provide one tour a day. We have multiple tours, similar to Regent, if you're familiar with Regent, whereby you have multiple choices each day. That's the hard thing. You got to make a choice. But they're all included in the price. We don't have any options. I repeat that. We do not have any optional tours. Everything is included. So typically once a week, a Scenic and Rich event. This is a private once-in-a-lifetime event. We also have a Scenic Sundowners. This is an afternoon wine or cocktail reception, usually about an hour and a half, 2 hours, in some fabulous location. And I'll show you more about that in a little bit too. We also have our tailor-made GPS we'll go through later, and our e-bikes. So we give people the greatest opportunity to experience each one of these locations, with choices of tours and options for them to go out on their own and do their own thing. So it's really, nobody else has anything like this. So that's really, really important for you to explain to your customer. All tips, gratuities, Wi-Fi throughout the ship, full-time entertainment. There's an entertainment system in each cabin as well. We bring in entertainers from the local area we are in. We bring in local people who are skilled in certain arts and crafts that area is famous for, so people can participate in that and learn more about it. We added laundry concierge, so once a week they can get their laundry done. And then this year new is the cruise guarantee, and I'll talk about that later. So to underscore the fact that we are the most all-inclusive, this is a third-party site, rivercruiseadvisor.com. A couple gentlemen who take all the river cruises, and they will, in fact, analyze them and write up quite a few articles. So it's a good, if you're going to focus on river cruises, it's a great site to have as a reference. But they have this chart on there, and you'll see that Scenic is sets the benchmark for the most all-inclusive. And the more all-inclusive, that's the more 5 stars. So there's really just 3 of them there. Crystal's not on here yet. But it's really important for you to compare. Even the Emerald is on here with 6 different inclusions, but priced the same as some of those that have 2 and 3. So great sales source for you to use. This is a picture I took of the balcony, so you can see the balcony is plenty of room for 2 people to sit down and have a cocktail or whatever. And then you can see that there's the outside of the balcony is a double pane glass. So at the push of the button, a little button on the wall there, you can raise and lower the second glass as much as you want to. So very, very popular item. When I'm on board, I just open the door, and now the door is, instead of having a sliding door, you have a folding door, so it folds all the way across. I never close it because I just close the outer window, and then I've got a curtain for privacy. Speaking of staterooms, these are the categories that we have. There's the D&E, which are the staterooms at the bottom of the ship. On the first deck, too low to have a balcony, so you just have a large window up there to bring in some good light. But other than that, these are 160 square feet, which is 15–20% larger than most of the others out there. And then also it has the same Egyptian cottons, L'Occitane lotions and shampoos and things like that. Entertainment system, with access to the internet. All that's in the cabin as well. And then to the top right, that's the majority of the cabins on board are these balcony suites. We basically have 3 different levels that look just like this. There's the standard balcony suite, 205 square feet, which is a picture here. Our color patterns are all natural colors inside because we think the focus should be like this on the outside. And then you have a deluxe balcony suite on the newer ships, which is 225 square feet. And the way they change is wide. They can't go any deeper into the boat, of course, so they get wider, so that space between the bed and the chair gets a little bit more. And then you go up to the junior suites. There's typically 4 of those on board, 2 in the second deck, 2 in the top deck. And those are 250 square feet. Those are great cabins for people that have some mobility issues, as they are the first cabins in the cabin row and next to the elevators that we have on all the ships. And then you have the luxury bathrooms there. Those are in the, that's a picture of one that's in one of the royal suites. Could be a junior suite. Not all of them have the bathtub, and then the Royal Panorama Suite. So bathtub and shower. Now the shower facility is outstanding. It's large. You can certainly move around in there. There's 3 nozzles that get you all wet. And then you got the L'Occitane lotions and shampoos, etc. Plenty of storage space both there and in the cabin. On the lower right is the Royal Suite. There are 4 of these, typically midship on board. The older ships, up to 2 to 6 years old, are 315 square feet, and our newer ships, the last couple of years, we increased it to 360 square feet. These are very popular, sell very quickly. And then the biggest suite on board currently, until March anyway, is the Scenic Royal Panorama Suite. There's 2 of these. They're on the back of the ship. Very difficult to get. You need to really book your customers a year ahead to get access to these suites. They sell that quickly. But they're the new ships, 475 square foot, 1 bedroom, and the bedroom can be divided off. It's in the back, so you've got this beautiful balcony on the side with some enhanced chairs there, and then on the back it's a big panorama window to look out. So you basically have like a 180-degree view in that cabin. Now the ship's older than a couple years ago. It's just a 1-room suite back there, so it's not a 1-bedroom separate. So it's they're 375 square feet. Still great size, beautiful cabins. But, and then I said these are the largest until March, because we're renovating 2 of our older ships, the Diamond in Bordeaux and the Sapphire on the Rhone, and we're adding we'll have these, but we're also having a Royal Owner's Suite in midship, combining a Royal Suite with a balcony suite for 515 square feet. So getting even bigger. Dining, Crystal Dining Room will accompany allow all people on board to eat at 1 seating. We're not too structured. If dinner starts at 7, people can roam in whenever they want up till 8:15 or 8:30, and they'll find seating and plenty of food. It's not really that crowded because we have some other choices for dining. Portobello's, the picture in the upper right, is in front of the main lounge. This Portobello's is Italian focused. But in France, we have L'Amour. We call it L'Amour. It's French food. This allows seating for, you can request seating for 2, 4, 6, 8 people. You just talk to your butler, and he will make the arrangements for you. Where that is located exactly, if you look at the lower right picture, that is the main lounge area, that large, beautiful room that we have there. You see in the front, that's the bow of the ship. That area is a sitting area during the day, but in the afternoon we close it up and set it up for dinner. It takes about 34 people per night, so everybody on board will have the opportunity to go there. The next dining area is the River Cafe. That's also in that lower right picture. That is the back part of the right side of the bar there. It's all set up as an all-day deli. This is kind of light, quick food. Instead of a buffet style, you just come up and get a sandwich or soup, salad, whatever their specialty is that day. Desserts are always available, of course. Really nice area and beautiful area to sit. They're all even pack a picnic lunch if your client wants that. Then we have al fresco dining on the top deck. for lunches typically with barbecue and all the refreshments they want, because all the beverages are included, and then there's 24-hour room service. So that's the dining choices. That's the Cruise Critic Award for the Best Shore Excursion Program. And so here's just one sample of one town, small town, very ancient town in Provence on the lower Rhone, Tarascon. And there's 4 tough choices there, tough to make. Which one you want to do. I've done them all, and I don't know which one. It'd be hard to make that decision. So that's the hard decision your client has, is choosing. So the sooner and all these are detailed in the brochure. So here's a copy of the brochure. This is for the Nuremberg, Prague to Budapest, a 3-day stay in Prague, which we highly recommend if they're doing the Danube. Prague is not on the river, so it is an extension. That they fly into Prague, spend 3 days there. There's tours that are included, and then we'll take them by bus down to Nuremberg and put them on the ship. And then they have a choice. It's hard for you to see this here, but you can see it in the brochure. But for example, in Nuremberg, you can go to the World War II sites, or you can go and do the tour of Nuremberg, which is a fabulous old medieval city, still completely walled. It's beautiful. It's famous for its, sausages, it's beers, it's gingerbread, all that. And then you go to Regensburg. We have 3 different choices there on what they want to do each day. Then the next day you go to Passau. Now, if you're starting in Budapest and going up, it's all opposite. But in Passau, they have the choice of an all-day excursion to Chesny Krumlov in the Czech Republic, a wonderful little medieval city, just like you're walking back in time. Or they can go to Salzburg. Of course, the birthplace of the Sound of Music, as well as Mozart, and you actually get a private showing of Sound of Music. Both of those include lunch, and then you'd come back and join the ship in Linz, or if you started south and came up, you would get off in Linz and join the ship in Passau. In Melk, you've got choices there of going to the Melk Abbey, which is fabulous 18th century Benedictine Abbey, or taking a 22-mile bike ride between Melk and Dürnstein. When we're in Dürnstein, then we have a Sundowners event. The Sundowners is, like I mentioned, an afternoon wine or cocktail party. This particular one is unbelievable. That picture on the left of that castle, looking over the Waha Valley on the Danube River, the highest castle there is there, that's where we have our Sundowners. So it's that type of event that you can tell your client they're going to be able to enjoy. Then in Vienna, there's actually like 4 choices of different things they could do that day, from a trip to Bratislava, to going out to Schönbrunn Palace, to the Spanish Writing School, the Lippinzer, or even shop with the chef. And then that night is a Scenic and Rich event to behold. It is a private concert at the Palais Liechtenstein for your clients, just our customers, not like others where you're in a concert hall with other groups, but just our customers, beautiful champagne reception, absolutely gorgeous palace, jaw-dropping experience. And then coming to Budapest, we have several choices there too. So that's kind of an idea of the shore excursions. They are detailed fairly well in the brochure themselves. Online, you can get access to even more details, but that's what makes and really sets Scenic apart from everybody else, is that experience. Here's Scenic and Rich. There's a picture of the concert at the Palais Liechtenstein in Vienna. Down below, that's in Avignon. That's on the Rhone River. That's Palais Pop at the Pope's Palace, which was the Vatican during the 1300s. And we're actually one of the only private companies in the world that can have an event there. So we have a private concert and dinner for our guests in the Palace of the Popes. Scenic TaylorMade. This is a system that's unique just to Scenic. We have it built for us and maintain it and enhance it every year. It's a multifaceted device. So there's 2 of them in each cabin. They're about the size of some of your larger smartphones now. And if you're on a guided trip, it's going to tell you, guide will tell you on the channel, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and you can listen to the guide with the earpiece. But if you want to go out later in the day and visit that area, but have some sort of a guided trip, it's got preloaded guided trips. So you just select the topic you'd like to focus on for that area, and it will guide your customer out go 6 blocks this way, take a right, and here's the palace of whatever, the church, or whatever it might be, and we'll guide them all the way around and come back to the ship. They can also take it just to do a walkabout, so to speak, where they can go out on their own and just wander, either walking or on the bike. It will follow them along. So just like your GPS in the car, if you don't put an address in, it's going to show you what street you're on and just kind of keep track of you. And that's what this does. The difference is, one, there's a red dot. That's the ship, so you can keep that in perspective. And number two, it's going to ping if you're coming within the proximity of a point of interest that we've set aside that we think it would be important that people wouldn't want to miss. So just do a little ping and say coming up 2 blocks on the right is a church or statue or whatever it might be. So wonderful, wonderful program. The last thing it's used for is on board the ship. It has a running commentary, we call the river view. It will have tell you where we are, what's coming up on the river, etc., so you don't miss things. So very, very cool unit. And just as cool are the bikes. So we've spent a huge investment to have the bikes be e-bikes instead of just regular bikes, so that more people can enjoy that experience. These people are actually heading out on a 22-mile bike ride that one there in Dürnstein there in the wine vineyards on their way to the Milk Abbey. They don't have to worry about getting tired. They don't have to worry about not getting up hills, because they simply turn the electricity on and get them a little boost, and they can enjoy that. So we have quite a few people enjoy that. We'll have 1 or 2 guided bike trips on every trip, and then every day that we don't have a guided trip, the bike's going to be there. They can check them out. Or we might have a guided trip that lasts in the morning. In the afternoon, people can check them out. And they do have helmets. These models aren't wearing their helmets. Shame on them, but we do recommend the helmets. We do have a more advanced biking program. It's run by Trek Travel, and you can book through them. So if you have a bike club or something like that, they actually bring on the professional bikes, road bikes, and have professional guides, professional mechanics, things like that on board. What's new in 2017? Well, for the first year in a long time, we're not building any new river ships for Scenic. We're building 3 for Emerald, but we are building the Eclipse that I'll talk about in a minute here, the ocean ship. We are adding the River Cruise Guarantee for all of our products. This is if something should happen in high water, low water issues, mechanical breakdown of blocks, bridges, or the ship, labor strikes, things like that, where it totally goofed up the trip, where we cannot resurrect the trip and they can't take the whole thing and hit the spots, which, knock on wood, has not happened to date, but it could happen. It's happened to others. We will reimburse them the cost of the trip. So we're just giving them money back. So that's detailed a little bit more in the brochure. You can take a look at that and explain that to your customers. It doesn't take place of travel insurance. It's above and beyond that. It's an insurance that we pay for and we include in the price. Then we're doing upgrades, as I mentioned earlier, to the Diamond and the Sapphire. These are 2 of our older ships. They didn't have a gym, for example. So we're adding a gym, taking cabins out of the lowest deck, putting our gym and wellness center down there. We're adding a vitality pool on the top deck, the Royal Owner's Suite I already mentioned, and then we're adding this culinary cooking class. So culinary will be an area in the front of the dining room where 10 people per day can participate in this cooking class. They'll go shop with the chef, come back, learn how to prepare and cook this typically French cooking, and then enjoy eating it. So again, an optional, another shore excursion, but in this case, she was staying on the ship for the most part. So very cool. We have a bunch of offers right now, limited time availability for anywhere from economy, free economy, round trip air, premium economy, or discounted business class. So you need to check with each sailing. They're all capacity controlled. And the easiest way to find out is to go online in our Express Book engine and check availability, and it will tell you. I'll show you where that shows up in just a second. Excuse me, just a minute. I'm going to have to cough for just a second. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the Scenic Eclipse. This is the new ocean ship. Its first sailing is August 31st, 2018. It's over 60% sold out. Unbelievable. So it's just being built now. The keel is laid down, and they're building the hull of the ship. It's going to be nothing else like it out there. From a standpoint of comfort, safety, environmental impact, it will be the most advanced ship built to date. And I'll go through some of those details. It will have 2 helicopters and a submarine as well. Those are 7 passengers, so people on board will have that opportunity. It will be all-inclusive. The helicopter and the submarine will be an additional charge, nothing outrageous. That's not where we're trying to make our money. That's a feature that's going to enhance your client's experience and ability to discover these beautiful areas that this ship is going to go to. So it is, we call it a discovery yacht, not an expedition yacht, because you're discovering, but in style. This is a unbelievable, some people call it 6-star, 1-to-1 guest, staff to guest ratio. Luxurious suites and public rooms throughout, butler service throughout, our own discovery team on board. All the shore excursions are included. We have scenic and rich events, all that type of stuff that we talked about in the river cruise. 6 different dining areas, beverages, of course, of all types are included, and service to the very nth degree for your client. The space, the public areas are going to be just luxurious. I mean, beautiful. You can see from the picture here the rendition. The Moronis have gone all over the world looking at the latest designs and features in some of the best hotels in the world, and they've come up with these design features, the best of the best. The suites are luxurious. I'll show you some pictures. There's just a regular suite in the upper left. The smallest one is 345 square feet. Then you have a deluxe veranda at 410 square feet. They all have verandas. Spa suite 515, grand panorama 1075, penthouse 1990, and then our 2-bedroom penthouse 2510. There may be 1 or 2 of those available in 2018-19 still. They've gone very quickly. Here's your dining choices. There's a French dining restaurant, there's a Pan-Asian restaurant, Italian restaurant. The Ocean Cafe is kind of your general restaurant, al fresco dining, of course, and then 24-hour room service. As I mentioned, these are 7 passengers. There's 1 submarine and 2 helicopters. So people will just reserve those on board. There will be a reasonable additional charge for those, but it will allow people to, even in like the picture in Antarctica, you fly into the inland part of Antarctica. You don't have to hike or anything, and see kind of what things are about there. If you're in the Med, you could fly into Mount Etna. So it just broadens the whole ability for your client to experience these wonderful areas. And the submarine, of course, get down to see the wildlife underneath the water, as well as shipwrecks, things like that. Fantastic. So as far as where it goes, it's going to start in Istanbul. No, it's not. We've canceled that. It's going to start in Croatia. So for all the reasons you guys are aware, the ship is being built in Croatia. So we're going to run 2 or 3 sailings in the Med to start, and that's the end of August 2018. Then we'll bring it over in the fall to Miami. We'll run a couple sailings around Cuba, and then we'll run a sailing. We'll hit Cuba and go south to the Panama Canal. Those Cuba sailings, for the most part, are sold out. Very hard to find space on them. Then we'll come down through South America on the Pacific side and end up in the winter in Antarctica. So the winter of 1819, there will be a bunch of sailings from 11 to 22 days into Antarctica. Now this ship is going to have the highest polar ice rating of any category out there. It's also equipped with extra large stabilizers, and these are both for when we're cruising through some of these rough areas. It will smooth out the ship. We've actually done quite a bit of research on that. Paul Allen, co-founder of Microsoft, has a yacht called the Octopus, where he put in these extra large stabilizers, and they've come out to work quite well. Our engineers have been on the ship. So these would make the cruising a little smoother, and also during the night when you would normally anchor, we don't anchor. We have the brand new electronic engines called Oxypod, state-of-the-art new engines, so they run all the time. They're very quiet. There's no fumes, and they're tied to the global positioning system, so they're able to keep the ship stable at night in one position without using anchors that could tear up the bottom of these sensitive sea areas. And then with the stabilizers out, it keeps from the wave action causing too much roly-poly stuff. It even has its own wastewater treatment plant on board the ship. So it's just some wild stuff that they've come up with that are way advanced for the ships of today. Then we'll take in the spring of 2019, we'll come back up the Atlantic side of South America over to the Med, and then up through northern Europe. So we spend the summer up as far north as Longyearbyen, and that is in Svalbard, way up above the Arctic Circle. Come back down, do Iceland, and come back to North America. So some very interesting, unique itineraries along the way. So I encourage you to take a look at that. Talk about deposits and some of that, and take a look at our website tools that you have to use. The deposit policy for Scenic and Emerald both, and in this case right now for Scenic Eclipse, is $500 deposit per person, non-refundable. And then for the River Cruise product, the final payment is then 90 days prior to departure. The only other deposit is if we do the air for your customer, it would be a $1,500 deposit, plus if they do business class, whatever that differential is. In the case of the Eclipse, then the Eclipse is a little bit different. The expedition class competitors out there typically would charge 25% of the cost of the cruise. So in this example here, it'd be $4,000 plus as the initial deposit. Since we haven't even built the ship yet, we didn't think that was quite fair. So it's $500 in this case, $500 per person. And then as of the end of February, it's going to go up to $1,000 additional per person. And then a year from February, we're now within the period of time we're within a year of most of the cruises. So we're asked for the additional 25%. That whatever equates to 25%. So it's not another 25%. It's what they've paid up to then, and then what additional needs to be paid to equal the 25% deposit, and then final payments 90 days prior to when their cruise departs. So in this case, and you see these people are Scenic Club members, so as your customer takes one Scenic cruise, then the second one, they'll receive a nice discount off the second one, third one, fourth one, and we hope they take a lot of them. We have some special pricing right now. It's preview pricing for the Scenic Eclipse. So that's explained in more detail on the website or by calling reservations. But the pricing is scheduled to go up at the end of February and to the standard pricing. And we'll see what happens after that. But it's selling so quickly that I encourage you to get your customers who would like to have this type of experience on board as soon as possible. We do have a contest for you as the agents. You need to register. I'll show you what that is online in a minute. But you can win on the second sailing from Venice to Barcelona, a nice cabin plus business class round trip airfare to Europe, over $20,000 value. You register, and then as you sell an Eclipse, your name is put in a hat, and then we'll do a drawing at the end of May. Now this is the agent portal. So our main site is scenicusa.com. There is a link in the upper left where you can click on Agent Portal, or you can put in Agent Portal. You'll find this site. The registration there is for your agency to register, and then once they register using their general username password, you can go in and set up your own username and password. We also have a link there for sales support. So I'll show you more about the contacts for the regional managers at the end of the presentation. Brochure orders. This is where you sign up for the Eclipse competition. It's also where you go for the Scenic Specialist program. And then I encourage you to take that program. because you will get a bonus commission. So before you make your first booking, Emerald has a similar program that they probably went through last week, but you get a bonus commission with your first booking after you pass the course within 6 months. And then this is ExpressBooks. Now, ExpressBooks is not just a booking engine; it's instant availability to see what cabins are available on what cruises. So in this case, I've done the Danube cruise. You need to know the tour number. It makes it faster. That's in the brochure. It's in the price box. In case of this trip, it's NBU, Nuremberg Budapest. And then you put in the starting date. I did this one a while ago. So it's 14. It's September of 2016. Now you would be 17, of course. And then it comes up with one line items like the bottom two there on the list. But then you can expand each one by clicking on that little plus button right here. Click on that and expands it and shows you which cabin categories is still available. So if you had, for example, a customer wanted to do this cruise at this time frame, but they wanted a junior suite, there isn't one here, there is not one here, but here's one down here on this sailing. So you can immediately, within minutes, tell them that there is a junior suite available on this particular sailing date. And then at that time, you can go in and actually look and see where that cabin is. The cabins with numbers are the cabins that are available. And since I have this up, let me just show you how the cabins lay out. So here's your D&E categories down at the bottom, and the Wellness Center, Gymnasium, whatnot right here. And then here on the second deck, these are all the same, 205 square feet, except these two here are junior suites, and this is that single cabin right here. So it's got a balcony, but there's a little stairwell for the staff, so we put a single bed in there. Other than that, it's the same as all the other rooms. And then on the top deck, you've got the junior suites here, you've got the royal suites, the gray ones are already sold in this case, and then all the rest of these are the same. And next year in 2018, I think we're going to standardize the pricing the same. Right now, there's a $100 difference of whatever between one cabin and another. Further back, the less expensive it is. Until you get back here, these are the royal balcony suites, the big ones. This is where you would be able to choose which particular promotions as of that day are available for you to select for that sailing and give you credit. It could be an air credit, or it could become an air discount or free air. This is where you go in and say at any point in time, either when you make the booking or later, any diet, medical, mobility, other issues that we should be aware of ahead of time. This really helps our people. We want this with final payment at the latest, so we have plenty of time to make sure we're prepared for your customer. Finally, we're going to talk about groups just a little bit. It only takes 5 cabins for a group. I can't tell you how many times I've mentioned this to agents, and they have done one simple thing to increase their sales, and that is when they do a booking, whether it's one couple or 2 couples, for example, to just bring up to those couples that river cruising is so popular, that so many people want to do it. Maybe one of your friends want to go along. If we can get 5 cabins booked, then it's going to give you a little discount. It's a great experience to do with friends and whatnot, because especially in the case of Scenic, everything's paid for and taken care of. So everybody just sits back and has a great time together, lots of great memories. We'll help you with flyers, a little discount, presentations, whatever we can do to help you promote those groups, we want to try to do if possible. And finally, we get real documents. So we actually get a document folder that'll be sent out about a month prior to departure. Has the confirmations, the itinerary, all that. It also has the backpack for each person too. So this is a day pack. They're lovely, very popular. People take them on the trip, and then they take them out when they do their tours and whatnot. So I thank you very much, and I will take some questions now.
Perfect. As always, sir, you did a great job. Thank you so much. Let me get a couple of the questions. Does Scenic own all of their own ships?
We own all of the ships outright, except for the one in Russia, which the Russian government, on the case, all cruise lines, they own the hull of the ship, and you build up from there. So, but ours is the most modern of all the ships out there. It's the most recent one built.
Perfect, perfect. You were mentioning the single supplement. Is it pretty much the same, except for you said there was it's a little bit shorter because of the stairwell?
Yeah, it's just not as wide, not as deep into the ship with the stairwells there. I've stayed in there. It's quite comfortable. I had a friend of mine, we got her in that, and she said, boy, I was like, everybody wanted to see my cabin to see what it was like. Because everything else, the bathroom's the same size, the deck's the same size, all that. It's just not as deep, so we put a single bed in there. Works out great.
Yeah. No,
and then single supplement, as long as you brought it up, we have single supplement, no supplement, or 50% supplement. It's all capacity controlled. There may be one or two available per cruise. I don't know what the exact, it differs by the popularity of those cruises. So if you have somebody who wants single supplement, the no single supplement typically is very early in the year. Sailings are very late, and then it's half price, 50%. So it's 150% of the normal rate during the high season. But again, those are capacity controls, so the earlier you can call in and get those, the better.
Great, thank you. And you knew what the next question was going to be because you just answered it about how many.
Not my first rodeo, so I know the questions.
It's not. You're really good at this. Let's see, what can I do to stump you? Somebody was asking about the restaurants. Are there actually 5 or 6 different restaurants, or are they themed on different nights?
No, they're different. So you've got the main restaurant, and on that, so the morning is a buffet, but there is also a menu for specialty items like eggs Benedict, things like that. But the buffet's got everything in the world on it, plus a omelet station. And then at lunch, it's a buffet, but also you have a menu that you can order off, cheeseburgers and things like that for the Americans. And then at night, it's all a la carte, of course. The table of Reeve is in the back of the dining room, so it's kind of a little bit semi-separate area for that kind of captain's dinner type thing. Portobello's Lemoore is in the lounge in the front, which is partitioned off at night. And the River Cafe is part of the main bar. And of course, room service is part of the room.
It is?
Yeah. Whatever room.
Funny how that name works out, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned also there was butler service. So is the butler service tied in with the room service, or are they completely separate on their own?
Now, the butler is basically a concierge, so it depends a little bit on the cabin type. The lower cabins are kind of small, so room service is great for breakfast and stuff, but dinner and stuff a little tight. A lot of people in the balcony suites will have their dinner and whatnot out on the balcony. It's a great, beautiful ambiance. But the butler's there is more of a concierge, so if you want room service, then you just call your butler. You take care of that, and he'll serve you the meal. If you want a cocktail, he'll bring that for you. If you need extra towels or anything like that, you have a room steward for that. If you have questions about we're coming up to a certain location, they can help you to some degree with that. They will also make your dinner reservations. So it's just an additional personal resource to have.
Excellent, excellent. One person was asking, they were asking, you have mentioned before, I have been on this itinerary, I've been on that itinerary, and Randy, we know you're not allowed to have any favorite children. We know how the rules are. But is there a particular itinerary that has captured your heart?
Well, it sounds lame, but every one. I mean, I haven't had a bad experience, and each one's a little bit different. So I just tell you, generally, I think you'll find all the cruise lines, the most popular where they have the most ships is the Danube. It's just something unique. It's got a lot of flavor and history of Eastern Europe, which growing up most of us didn't know a lot about. And the cities of Prague and Nuremberg and Budapest and Vienna are fabulous. The Malkavi's fabulous. So that's really a nice trip. for you people. It's a good starting trip. That and the Rhine's the other one that's real popular. Rhine, of course, a lot of German history, Western Europe history. The French river cruises are all lovely, great weather typically. The Seine trip is amazing because unlike most competition, we can get people, we had to build a special ship, we can get them all the way to Honfleur, where they're very, almost an hour and a half each way closer to Normandy, so you can spend that much more time at the cemetery or at the beaches. And I can tell you, I finally did that a couple of years ago, and it's amazing. I think about that experience all the time. And then Bordeaux, if you like wine, boy, that's the ultimate for wine lovers. It's not much of a cruise because the rivers are very short, the navigational part of the rivers, but just quite an immersion in some of the best wines in the world. The Douro, that's new. I have not done that, but I'm getting great response back from that. Again, good wine region. And the Rhone is fabulous because Rhone is history, not just French, but Romans were really big along the Rhone. And of course, just a nice variety of different French wines, things like that. And then Russia, I'd love to do. I've been to St. Petersburg. I loved it. I'd like to do that cruise. It's 2 weeks, 4 scenic and rich events. And of course, the new one's down in Southeast Asia. That's a very different part of the world. You can go there in the wintertime. So if you have people want to get out of town now because there's snow and ice and whatever, think about sending them to the Mekong or the Irrawaddy. It's nice and warm down there.
Someone was asking, do you offer a tulip time itinerary?
Yes, we do. I did take that too. So a couple of years ago, I took my wife on that. That's only typically the last couple of weeks of April, first week of May. It's when it's positioned when the tulips are out in full bloom in the Keukenhof Gardens, one of the largest gardens in Europe, and it's absolutely amazing if people like flowers. But in addition to that, you get to go to Bruges, which is a fabulous place, a medieval town that was kind of lost in history and resurrected again as a tourist destination, but it really is like walking back in town. You get to go to you get to go to the Delta Works where they control all the water levels in that part of the world, and then just some really interesting places I didn't expect. We loved it. We really enjoyed it. It's round trip Amsterdam. It's very simple for people to get to and come back from.
Got it. One of our attendees is asking, on the Russia cruise, do they have the same itineraries, the butlers, etc., and what is the difference about this one?
Yeah, there's a little bit difference. I guess the Russians, have some rules that they want to abide by. So we do not include all the liquor and stuff. We have a wine and beer, of course, at lunch and dinner, and then we have, I understand, a number of vodka tastings, of course. But we are not allowed to just include the alcohol anytime, anywhere. There is butler service. They do not have the sun lounge effect, which is they do have the decks, the balconies, but they're just railings. They're not the glass panel. And I think, well, we don't have the GPS or the e-bikes. The Russians aren't really cool on our people wandering around on their own, so those are limited. But other than that, it's great service, great food, and lots to see.
Excellent. Circling back to the specialization courses, is this something that they go through on your website? Is there an outside service? How do they become specialized?
Well, it is in the agent portal. So if you click on the agent portal link on the upper left of our main scenicusa.com site, and this is for USA only. This is not for Canada. So if you're from Canada, a lot of what I say may be different up in Canada. Canada and US are separate entities, so you need to contact them. But on the USA site, you click on Agent Portal, and then there is a link to Scenic Specialist. It will open up. You just simply take the course. You have the brochure next to you, so you can cheat a little bit. We just want you to take the time to go through and learn some more about our services. There's some great videos. We have lots of videos. There's some in the course, but you can YouTube us or go to the Facebook page or even the website And there's videos on the ships, there's videos on the servers, there's videos on most of the destinations, so you can get some more detail to talk to your client about, or you can send them the link to those videos.
And after they're done being certified, do they qualify for any FAM rates or discounts as travel agents?
Even submit a FAM rate request, you need to have taken the course, so that's a prerequisite. You also will be on our email list, so you'll be the first to know of anything new rates, new whatever. So that's helpful. Plus, you get the bonus commission on your first booking.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that wraps up all the questions that I had. Randy, by chance, are you able to access the agent portal to be able to show people how to order catalogs for themselves if they would like to?
I think so. Let's see here how that would work best. Help if I had the URL right there. So can you see my screen?
Yep, you're now in Chrome.
Okay, so right here is Agent Portal. So this is a consumer site. You don't want to order your brochures here because we're only allowed you to order one. So you want to go to the Agent Portal. Now, if you want to learn more about Scenic and here's the coverage on the new program with the insurance. There's also a gallery of the videos and whatnot right there. But click on Agent Portal, and it will go in, and here you've got your different things. So here's the booking engine where you can create bookings, quotes, or just get instant availability. You need a username, password. Here's the Eclipse register. Here's how your agency registers. Here's sales support, brochures. You can order brochures here. You can order, I think, up to 10 each. There's videos, 360s. Wherever they put the Scenic, you're kidding me. Okay. There's that comparison chart, by the way. Interesting. So it used to be here last week. So I think, let me see if I can do this. Is it spelled correctly? I don't know if that'll do it or not. No. I'll have to get you the URL for that. I don't know what happened. People go in and change the site all the time, and then they don't tell us what they're doing.
Of course
so
not.
I'll get you that URL.
Thank you, and I'll make sure to send it out to everybody. Yes. Oh, come on, Randy. It's the left-hand, right-hand syndrome. We know how that is. Well, I want to thank you.
We're trying to make things better in the process as we get something.
Well, thank you again for being our guest today and giving everybody a good look and taste on what Scenic has to offer for their clients. Again, this is being recorded, so if anybody needs to go back, I will also be emailing you the link so that you'll be able to access it on the NACTA YouTube channel. Want to thank you again, Randy, and I look forward to seeing you. If I don't see you beforehand, I have a feeling you and I may run into one another at the NACTA convention, which is going to be up in Anchorage this year, September 13th through 16th. So if any of the agents are interested in going to our national conference, make sure to go look at the NACTA.com website for registration information. Any last remarks, Mr. Randy, before we sign off?
Well, thank you all for taking the time today. It's really important to understand the differences between these different brands. So Scenic is not right for every one of your clients, but it's certainly the best option for some of your higher end, all-inclusive type clientele. So we encourage you to talk to them about that, and then your clients who really are looking for something unique and new and trendy. The Eclipse is fabulous, but even though it's 2018, you need to think about booking them now. it's going fast. Thank you very much. I hope you wish you the best for 2017 and 2018. Make those bookings.
That's right. All right. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a good rest of your week and a safe and warm rest of your day. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye, Randy.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.